Ever get that feeling like a cool new thing popped up online and you only heard about it way after everyone else was already in the know?
Oh yeah, happens all the time. FOMO is real.
Totally. Well, today we're kind of taking a shortcut through that. We're diving deep into Dogelon Mars.
Ah, Elon.
Exactly. It has that same kind of energetic buzz, like some of those early internet things, but this time it's happening in the crypto space.
It is fascinating how these digital assets can just capture the imagination, isn't it?
Right.
We've seen this pattern before, and Dogelon Mars definitely seems to be tapping into something similar, a sort of community-driven thing.
Exactly. We're talking meme coins, yeah. They often seem to just appear fueled by internet culture, maybe a bit of shared fun. But sometimes they really take off and build these surprisingly dedicated communities. Like, think about Dogecoin. A lot of people know that story.
Sort of the original dog coin.
And Dogelon Mars feels like it shares some of that DNA, definitely, though with its own unique cosmic twist.
That's a great point. The origins might be lighthearted, sort of tongue-in-cheek, but the communities that build up around them, they can become pretty significant forces online.
Yeah.
It really speaks to the power of, like, shared stories and memes online.
So for this deep dive, we've done the heavy lifting for you. We gathered a whole bunch of info.
Pulled from quite a few places.
I did. We explored the official Dogelon Mars website, crunched price and news data from Forbes, Crypto, Benzinga, Crypto News, CoinMarketCap,
CryptoRank.io, Binance Square, even the Economic Times. Quite the list.
Yeah, we really sifted through all the noise to try and bring you the most interesting and important bits of the puzzle.
So our goal today is pretty simple, really. We want to understand what Dogelon Mars is actually all about.
Right.
Get a clear picture of why it's generating buzz and see what all these different sources tell us about, well, where it stands now and what its future might hold. Maybe?
Okay, let's unpack this then. Who exactly is Dogelon Mars? Because it's not just a catchy name, is it? The official website paints this whole picture.
It really does.
Yeah.
The site introduces this character, right? An intergalactic dog explorer named Dogelon.
Yeah.
Who's on this adventure to get back to Mars.
Yeah.
It's quite a developed storyline for something that started out as a meme coin.
Totally. There are even comics on the website telling Dogelon's story. They call it a fantastical roadmap, which is honestly pretty clever marketing.
It is clever.
It talks about this mission to recolonize Mars, like way in the future, 2420 or something, and fighting off these mysterious annihilators. It's quite the saga.
And this story, this narrative, it's maybe more significant than it looks at first glance.
How so?
Well, it gives the community something to rally around, a shared goal, even if it's totally fantastical.
Yeah.
It cleverly mixes that familiar Dogecoin dog meme with Elon Musk's very public ambitions about Mars. It creates this theme that really resonates within that crypto subculture.
And that connection is just so direct, isn't it? That whole "to the moon" phrase from crypto has basically morphed into Mars with this coin. It's tapping right into those established internet and crypto trends.
Exactly. It's using existing cultural touchstones, things people already recognize in both the meme world and the crypto world.
Makes it instantly relatable.
For a certain crowd, yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working pretty well in building a following.
Absolutely. Crypto News and CoinMarketCap both mention the strong community that's formed around it, like really big numbers on X and Telegram.
Yeah, the follower counts are impressive.
That kind of enthusiastic fan base can be a real engine in crypto. But what is it about these meme coin communities, do you think? Is it just the shared joke that makes them so strong?
That's a good question. I think while the initial spark might be the joke or the meme, these communities often grow into something more. There's this shared sense of being in on it, you know, a collective belief in the potential, however improbable it might seem to outsiders. This shared identity, this enthusiasm, it can be a really powerful driver for engagement, even for the price sometimes.
So, okay, we've got the character, the story, the community, but what about the actual token, the Elon token? What's the tech?
Right, the token itself, Elon. It's the digital asset that kind of powers this whole Dogelon Mars story.
Okay.
And it's important to know, like CoinMarketCap and Benzinga point out, it runs on both the Ethereum and Polygon networks.
Ah, okay, so established networks.
Yeah, built on existing blockchain infrastructure. It's not its own separate chain, at least not primarily.
Got it. Now, I remember seeing something about a truly enormous number of these tokens, like just a mind-bogglingly huge supply.
That's correct. The total supply is 1 quadrillion tokens. which is a lot.
1 quadrillion. Yeah, that's hard to even picture.
And in a move that kind of echoes what Shiba Inu did early on.
Right, I remember that.
They sent a huge chunk, about 50%, to Vitalik Buterin, Ethereum's co-founder.
Why do that? What's the thinking there?
Well, the idea, presumably, is to effectively take those tokens out of circulation, reduce the available supply, and maybe create this sort of decentralized burn mechanism. What's your take on the psychological effect of that? Does it really make people feel like it's scarce?
That's a really interesting angle. On one hand, yeah, those tokens are technically gone, which might make some people think the rest are more valuable.
Right.
But on the other hand, the starting number was so huge, 1 quadrillion, that even with half gone, you still have hundreds of trillions left.
Yeah, the numbers are still astronomical.
CoinMarketCap says the current circulating supply is around 553 trillion ELONs. Still massive. So it feels more symbolic than like actual scarcity, you know, at least right now.
I tend to agree. It definitely generates buzz and fits that sort of decentralized story.
Yeah.
But the sheer volume still floating around means real scarcity is a long way off. Still, the story of half being locked away adds to the narrative.
Now, the Dogelon Mars website also mentions governance. In the context of a meme coin, what does that actually mean? Because when I read that holders can vote on the fate of the universe, it sounds fun, but maybe not like a concrete system.
You're right to be a bit skeptical there.
Yeah.
While governance might make you think of like DAOs with formal voting on proposals.
Right, like treasury spending or protocol upgrades.
Exactly. In the context of Dogelon Mars, it seems more about gauging community feeling. Probably involves polls, discussions on Telegram or Discord, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Rather than, say, binding on-chain votes that directly change the project, it's more about giving the community a voice, making them feel involved in the story.
That makes sense. Fostering engagement more than actual decentralized control in the, you know, the technical sense.
Pretty much.
And speaking of shared spaces, they also talk about a Dogelon Metaverse, right? That sounds like trying to build something more concrete around the token.
That seems to be the ambition, yeah. The website does talk about a metaverse that's currently in beta.
Beta, okay.
The concept is users can stake their ELON tokens to get virtual land on a digital Mars. Then they can build stuff, maybe earn through some kind of multiplayer game.
Interesting.
They also mentioned the Rufus L2 testnet. That's built using Arbitrum Nitro tech.
L2, layer 2 scaling, right, to make transactions faster and cheaper.
Exactly. For anyone less familiar, an L2 like Arbitrum aims to take some load off the main Ethereum network. Using that suggests they're thinking ahead about handling lots of users if this metaverse thing takes off. What kind of significance do you see in that for a meme coin trying to last? Is it a real evolution?
It's a really good question. I mean, on one side, it shows they want to be more than just a speculative thing, right?
Ambition.
A working metaverse with actual stuff to do could keep users around longer than just traders looking for a quick flip.
True.
And the L2 part suggests they're thinking about scale, which you absolutely need for any active online world. But the key is always execution, isn't it? Lots of crypto projects talk about metaverses. Very few actually deliver something people want to spend time in.
Good point.
So while it's a positive sign, maybe shows potential growth, it's still very much in the wait and see bucket for me.
Precisely. Making that jump from just a meme to something with real utility, that's tough. The success of the metaverse, the tech underneath, that'll be critical if Dogelon Mars wants to make that leap.
And I also saw something about bridging ELON tokens to Solana. Why do that?
Interoperability. Being able to move tokens between different blockchains is getting more and more important.
Okay.
Allowing ELON to move to Solana could open it up to a whole different group of users, maybe new uses within Solana's ecosystem. That ecosystem has seen a lot of growth in things like DeFi and NFTs.
Right, so it's about increasing reach, potentially more places to trade or use the token.
Exactly. More reach, potentially more liquidity.
Okay, so we've got the backstory, the token details, some potential future stuff. Now, let's get to what I bet a lot of people are curious about. The market, the price. What are the sources saying about how Dogelon Mars is doing?
Right, the market pulse. Well, looking at Forbes and CoinMarketCap data, around April 9th, 2025, the price was hovering near 0.0000000 DELF.
Okay, lots of zeros.
Lots of zeros. But both sources also noted some recent upward movement. Forbes mentioned a plus 13.28% jump in one day.
Wow.
And CoinMarketCap showed something similar, plus 12.54%. So some positive action recently.
Definitely a recent surge then. But what's the bigger picture? Like historically, where does that price sit?
Good question. Looking back, Forbes says the all-time high was around 0.0000002231. That was about 5 years ago.
5 years. Okay.
CoinMarketCap puts that peak around July 2021 and also really highlights the drop from that point, about 99.63% down.
Oh, minus 99%.
Yeah. Forbes also gives the all-time low, so you can see the full range it's traded in. That's a pretty huge drop from the top. What does that kind of volatility scream to you?
Well, it screams high risk, maybe high reward, but definitely high risk. And just how speculative these meme coins are.
Exactly.
The price can just skyrocket on hype and then plummet when sentiment shifts. That fall from the peak really shows that. And Forbes also gave the shorter term ranges too, right? Like 7-day, 30-day.
Yes. Forbes provides that shorter view, which helps put the recent jump in context. Is just a quick blip or part of maybe a slightly longer upward trend? Helps to see that.
And it's interesting. It doesn't always just move with Bitcoin or the rest of the market, does it? I think Benzinga reported times when ELON actually did better than Dogecoin and Shiba Inu.
That's a key point, yeah. While meme coins often move together or follow the big trends,
right,
individual ones can definitely have their own moments.
Yeah.
Breakouts driven by specific things, maybe a viral tweet, an influencer mention, even indirectly like with Musk, or community news, or just a sudden wave of buying interest. Benzinga pointing that out really underlines how unpredictable and sentiment-driven this corner of the market is.
Now, looking ahead slightly, Crypto News mentions some short-term predictions. What did they say?
Yeah, Crypto News referenced some analysis from CoinCodex. It suggested a possibility of a pretty big short-term jump, maybe up to around business 0.0000000 or 424 by April 12th, 2025.
So like a 3x or 4x jump potentially very soon.
Potentially. And this is crucial. These are very short-term predictions. Based on technicals, current mood.
Yeah.
They can change incredibly fast. Definitely not financial advice.
Oh, absolutely not.
What's your general feeling about those kinds of super short-term crypto predictions? How much weight do you give them?
Honestly, very little weight for actual decision making. I think they show the current market mood, maybe the potential for quick swings.
Yeah.
But as reliable forecasts, no way. The crypto market's just too wild for that. And it sounds like even the technical signals themselves weren't all pointing the same way, according to Crypto News.
That's right. Their report back in March 2025 noted mixed signals. A fair number of bearish signs, some bullish ones, some neutral. That lack of a clear consensus from the charts just highlights the uncertainty and the volatility around Elon.
So, yeah, quite the roller coaster price-wise. Recent gains, but way down from the peak. And the near future looks pretty fuzzy. Okay, let's try and understand the why. What's driving all this interest? What are the main factors?
Several things seem to be feeding into it, and they're kind of connected. As pretty much all our sources, Forbes, Benzinga, Crypto News, Binance Square, point out, the biggest one is probably that clear link to Elon Musk.
Yeah, can't escape that.
And just the general fascination with space travel, especially going to Mars, the coin's name, the whole story. It taps right into that.
It really is kind of a perfect storm of internet culture, isn't it? You've got the dog meme, classic internet fuel, combined with this big futuristic goal of Mars pushed by someone super influential like Musk. Binance Square even specifically mentioned the idea that the coin could rally just because of Musk's influence and space excitement.
Exactly. Musk's tweets, his comments, they've shown over and over they can move crypto markets, especially meme coins. Even an indirect link, no direct endorsement needed, can build a story that attracts investors.
And then there's just the bigger meme coin trend itself. Dogelon Mars is clearly riding that wave, following Doge and Shiba like CoinMarketCap and the Economic Times noted.
Yeah, it's part of that whole phenomenon.
It fits the mold. What do you think is the core appeal there? Why do these meme coins grab so much attention?
I think it hits a few different things. There's the fun, the internet culture part, feeling like you're part of an online inside joke.
Yeah.
There's definitely the lure of quick, maybe life-changing money, even if it's a long shot, fueled by stories of early Doge buyers.
Right, the lottery ticket aspect.
Kind of. And maybe there's also a bit of like rebellion against traditional finance. Meme coins seem more accessible, less serious on the surface, an easier way into crypto for some people.
I also saw on Binance Square that Elon got caught up in surges linked to political figures, like Trump. That just shows how speculative this gets, right?
It really does. It shows how these coins can get tangled up in totally unrelated news cycles or cultural moments. Price moves based on things that have nothing to do with the project itself, just pure sentiment.
Wild. And lastly, the community itself seems like a major force, especially wanting listings on big exchanges like Binance. We saw that mentioned on Binance Square. Why is getting listed such a huge deal for these coins?
Oh, exchange listings are massive,
yes.
Especially big ones like Binance. It dramatically increases how many people can easily buy and sell the coin.
More access, more potential buyers.
Exactly. Wider availability often leads to more trading volume, potentially more demand, and maybe a price increase.
Yeah.
The community pushing hard for listings shows they believe in it and want it to grow.
Okay, so key drivers. Musk-Mars connection, the general meme coin trend, and a really loud, enthusiastic community. But we absolutely have to talk about the downsides, too, the cautions that the sources raise.
Absolutely critical. The high volatility inherent in crypto, and especially in meme coins, is a constant warning. Crypto news, Binance Square, CoinMarketCap all hammer this point home.
Yeah.
These things are known for huge, fast price swings, meaning the risk of losing a lot of money quickly is very, very real.
That's such an important point. Recent gains mean nothing about the future. The price could easily tank just as fast. Now, we touched on short-term predictions. What about longer term? Did the sources offer any forecasts?
Several sources did give longer-term predictions, but honestly, you have to take these with a massive grain of salt.
Right, crystal ball stuff.
Totally.
Okay.
Especially for meme coins. Crypto News mentioned 2025 and 2030 forecasts from places like Digital Coin Price, CoinCodex, Changely. And the striking thing was the huge range in their predictions. Just no agreement at all on where the price might go. That really tells you how uncertain it is.
Sounds like educated guesses at best, but yeah, no real certainty looking that far out for something driven by hype. And Crypto News also had that stark warning that meme coins could just go to zero.
They did. It's a critical warning. Often the value is almost entirely based on social media buzz and sentiment, not real utility. If that buzz fades, if the community loses interest, the price can collapse completely.
Yeah.
It really underlines why you have to do your own research and understand the risks before putting any money in.
Now, going back to those potential future developments, the Dogelon Metaverse, the Rufus L2 testnet, could those things give it more staying power beyond just the meme?
They definitely represent an attempt to be more than just a meme, as Binance Square hinted, building a working metaverse, improving the tech that could add real utility.
Could attract different users.
Potentially, yeah. Users who aren't just there to speculate. But again, it's still early days for those projects. Their actual success, their impact on the token's value, still very uncertain. Details are pretty scarce.
So a possible path to relevance, but definitely not guaranteed. Okay. And finally, the big one I'm sure people wonder about. Could Elon actually hit something like, say, 1 cent? 0.01 cents.
Ah, the 1 cent dream. CoinMarketCap addresses this directly, actually. And they're pretty skeptical.
Why is that?
The main hurdle is just that massive supply. 1 quadrillion tokens. For the price to hit even 1 penny with that many tokens.
The total value would have to be enormous.
Astronomically high. Like way bigger than the entire crypto market is today. It just makes it incredibly improbable under current conditions.
That sheer number of tokens really puts a ceiling on the individual token price, doesn't it? Basic math.
Precisely. The supply side of the equation makes that kind of price target extremely, extremely difficult.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. Dogelon Mars. It's a meme coin. It's definitely grabbed attention with this unique space dog story.
The mission to Mars narrative.
Right. Huge token supply, price has been super volatile, driven hard by internet culture, the Elon Musk factor, and a very passionate online community. And it's also trying to maybe build something more with a metaverse and some blockchain tech development.
That sums it up well. It's that mix. Internet culture, celebrity links, community power, and all the speculation that comes with crypto.
And the crucial takeaway for everyone listening, while the meme coin market can offer that allure of quick, big gains, it comes with really significant risks.
Huge risks.
It's absolutely essential to understand those risks, do your own homework before deciding to put any money into something like Dogelon Mars or really any crypto.
Diligence, understanding it's speculative.
Yeah.
That's key. And never ever invest more than you can truly afford to lose.
So here's a final thought to chew on. We've seen this wild mix, right? Internet culture, huge influence from people like Musk, these futuristic dreams baked into the Dogelon Mars story. What does all that really tell us about how tech online communities and, well, speculative investing are evolving and mixing together?
Interesting question.
Is this just another fleeting internet meme dressed up in crypto gonna fade away? Or could these kinds of community-powered stories and the tokens they create actually carve out some kind of weird, permanent place in the digital economy? Definitely something to think about.